No, copy करो.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gate 22 classes under Prerna scheme sponsored by AICT. Today's lecture will be on geotechnical engineering. In that, you will see foundation engineering, subsurface investigation, how to drill boreholes, what is mean by sampling. Then you will see plate load test, standard penetration method, core penetration method, earth pressure theories, which is given by Rankine and Coulomb. Okay, after that you will see stability of a slope. So today's lecture is most important lecture because, as you know, soil mechanics cover 14 to 15 marks of gate. Okay, so please be focused. Ma'am will be present within in 2 to 3 minutes. Ma'am, are you ready? So I request Divani ma'am to please proceed with her lecture. Please pay attention. If you have any problem, any doubt, you can ask at the end of a lecture.
Hello students, good evening to all of you. I'm audible? Okay. So my name is Divyani Harpal, Assistant Professor of Civil Engineering Department, Tulsiramji Gaikwad Patil College of Engineering and Technology. Today, um, our topic is foundation engineering and bearing capacity of soil, which is the subject of geotechnical engineering. So let's start. Okay. Now, we are discussing about geotechnical topic is foundation engineering. The points are information, purpose, its type, suitability, factors affecting soil exploration, and its bearing capacity. Foundation is the lower part of the structure, which is directly in contact with the ground, and it transmits superimposed loads. Okay, which is developed by superstructure. Okay, so very important part of our structure, and majorly it is directly contact with ground. Okay, and it transmits load through superimposed load through the soil. Okay, and the majority of structure fails due to failure of their foundation. If our foundation is weak and it is unable to retain the load, that it can be collapsed. It can be destroy our structure. Okay, so we can say that foundation is a very important part of the structure. The major purpose is to transmission of load in such a way soil is not overstressed and does not undergo deformation. Okay, so what is the purpose of foundation? The purpose of foundation is to support the structure. First one is to support the structure, and second one is distribute the load over a large area. Okay, minimize the differential settlements, and increase the stability and prevents overturning. Overturning, like when any type of rotation load acting on a structure. Okay, so it will prevent to overturn our structure. Okay, and distribute non-uniform load and uniformly to the soil. If eccentric load applied on a structure, so with the help of foundation, we can distribute non-uniform load as well. Okay, uniformly. Wait.
Due to some network issues. Okay, wait. Due to network issue, we are unable to share our laptop screen. Okay, so wait a minute. We are trying to do something.
हेलो मैम, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
Don't leave the class. Just wait for a moment.
Okay, sorry students for interruption. Okay, so what is foundation? The lowest part of a structure directly in contact with the ground and transmits all the loads to the subsoil below it. It's called as foundation. And what was the purpose? The purpose was to support the structure, distribute the load over a large area, minimize the differential settlement, stability, and its overturning. And last one was the distribute non-uniform load uniformly to the soil. So, next topic is types of foundation. There are two types of foundation. First one is shallow foundation and second one is deep foundation. The differences between shallow foundation and deep foundation is depend upon the dimensions of the foundation. If the dimension, if the depth of the foundation is less than the or equal to the width of the foundation, that we can it is a shallow foundation. And opposite to shallow foundation, if the depth of the foundation is if the depth of the foundation is greater than the width of the foundation, so we can say that it is a deep foundation. Okay, so stability of foundation is when bearing capacity of soil is more. If groundwater table is low and top layer of the soil are uniform and stable, also load on the structure is less, then we can choose shallow foundation. But if bearing capacity of soil is very low, groundwater table is high, dewatering of foundation is costly and difficult, top layer of soil are non-uniform and unstable, and also load on the structure is more, okay, or high. So in this case, we can choose deep foundation. So these are the suitability criteria for selection of foundation. Wall footing. Okay, we know that we have two type of structure. First one is load bearing structure and second one is we know that if we are using the foundation below the wall, so this type of foundation we can say that wall foundation. Okay, it is two types. First one is simple wall footing without masonry offset, and second one is wall footing with masonry offset. It's also called as stamped wall footing. Okay, in diagram we can see clearly. In simple wall footing, the SBC is high. What is SBC? SBC is safe bearing capacity. Okay, if bearing capacity is high, we can choose simple wall footing without masonry offset. If SBC is low, so we can use stamped wall footing. In diagram, first one is simple wall footing. You can see clearly only simple wall. Okay, only simple wall have foundation. But in second one, stepped wall footing, wall increase like steps. Okay, and then after it has a foundation. Sorry, a lower part, concrete lower part. Okay, so this type of foundation is known as wall foundation or wall footing. Wall footing, it's a simply type of footing. If slab footing for continuous wall, okay, continuously a strip or slab, okay, are placed continuously below the wall, continuous wall. So this type of footing is known as strip footing, used to support load bearing wall. Okay, we are discussing previously about load bearing structure and load bearing structure and frame structure. So wall footing or like strip footing are used for load bearing structure. Okay, reinforced concrete footing. Commonly we are used reinforced concrete footing, and it is used for load bearing. It is used for frame structure. Okay, used where the walls are subjected to heavy load and soil bearing capacity is very low. So the criteria is, if soil bearing capacity is low, we can use reinforced concrete footing. You can see here one column, and below the column it is a footing. Okay, reinforced cement concrete footing. This type of footing is known as reinforced concrete footing, and which is applicable, which is adopted for frame structure. Isolated column footing, used to support individual column. Okay, and the types is single footing. Okay, second one is stabbed footing, third one is slope footing, and the shapes also different. Square footing, circular footing, square footing, stabbed footing. Okay, and slope footing. This is a clear example for isolated column footing, and it is supported. Yeah, it is located in particular column. Okay. Combined footing. Combined footing, like if two columns are very close to each other and the separate footing of both columns are overlap to each other, that in this case we can use combined footing. Okay, so supports two columns. It supports two columns, and the two columns are so close to each other that their individual footings would overlap. Okay, so one column is placed right at the property line of the other column. Okay, yeah, we can say that one column footing can be overlapped to each other. Okay, so also the CG of column load and centroid of the footing should coincide. So in this case, we can use combined footing. Combined footing in both cases, in rectangular footing and in trapezoidal footing. Okay, so the plan and elevation clearly mentioned here. You can see in the rectangular footing, two columns are close to each other and one rectangular combined footing are provided to these two columns. And in second one, the shape of the combined footing looks like a trapezoidal shape. So that this type of combined footing is known as trapezoidal footing. Strap footing. Two isolated footing connected with a strap or a beam. You can see here, two footings are connected with a strap, okay, like a beam. So this type of footing is known as strap footing, connected in such a way that they behave as a one unit. In, these two footings are connected like a one unit, okay, not separate. The strap acts as a connecting beam and does not take any soil reaction. The strap is designed as rigid beam. Okay, so it does not provide bearing. Okay, just connect to each other. Connect to column. Okay, isolated column. So this type of column, sorry, this type of footing is known as strap footing. Next one is raft foundation. Raft foundation is a large reinforced concrete slab supporting number of columns and walls. Okay, if number of columns and number of walls are connected to each other, in this case, we can provide raft foundation. Area of spread footing or combined footing exceeds about 50% of the gross area of the building, so that in this case, raft foundation is adopted. Okay, so greater weight and continuity of a mat providing sufficient resistance. You can see here in this diagram two portions like two columns are connected by a strapped footing. Okay, consolidated hard concrete. Okay, so raft foundation with steel reinforcement brass, or it is a slab type foundation. So this type of foundation is known as raft foundation. When raft foundation is adopted, when the concrete, then the number of columns and walls are connected to each other. Okay, so that raft foundation is adopted. These all are the example of raft or mat foundation. You can see here, number of columns are connected by one slab only, and in other case, it look like a beam. Okay, it's look like a slab. This type of foundation is known as raft or mat foundation. Factor affecting foundation selection. So many choices are there. Subsurface soil. Main factor is subsurface soil, groundwater table conditions, type of structure, magnitude of load, and tolerance of structure, like permissible value of settlement and tiles, etc. These main factors are affecting foundation choice. So now we are discussing about subsurface investigation. Okay, what is subsurface? Subsurface or surface investigation or site exploration is carried out to collect the information about physical property and characteristics of the subsoil material, as well as the detail of other geological features of the site area. Okay, if we are adopting a site for exploration or for construction work, the first step is to check the property of those of subsoil. Okay, subsoil material properties like its origin and its soil origin, soil origin, soil bearing capacity, its grain size, its load carrying capacity, etc. So these properties, physical and properties and characteristics of subsoil material is under the subsurface investigation, and it is very important process before starting any type of construction work. Okay, so purpose of subsoil exploration is to site exploration or investigation is carried out to collect the complete details of the site for the following purpose: complete detail. The main purpose of soil exploration is to collect or is to carry out the complete detail about the site or about the soil, which are used to um, which are used to construct any structure. Okay, so the purpose was to fix the depth of the foundation up to which it must be taken inside the ground. So first one is to check the depth of foundation. If soil is very loose, its bearing capacity is very less, so that the depth of the foundation will increase. Okay, so the depth of foundation must be taken inside the ground. The depth of foundation is the um, main motto to select, yeah, to exploration of sites. Okay, so second one is to fix the value of safe bearing capacity of soil. We know that the superimposed load are transferred to the beams, to the column, to the to foundation, and the foundation spread those load to the soil. So the capacity of soil to retain, to bear this load, this property of soil is known as the bearing capacity of soil. But the ultimate or the safe bearing without collapsing, without failure, the bearing capacity of soil, the value of bearing capacity of soil is known as safe bearing capacity of soil. The second purpose is to calculate, yeah, to collect the details of site is to check the value of safe bearing capacity of the soil. And third one is to predict the likely settlement of the selected foundation and to make the allowance for the same in the design. So in the previous we discussed in previous slide the purpose, yeah, sorry, the criteria to select type of foundation, shallow foundation, deep foundation. The criteria fulfilled by the collecting all exploration details of the site. If bearing capacity is high, we can choose shallow foundation. But if bearing capacity of soil is less or is low, so we have to choose deep foundation as well. Okay, so these all the criteria to choose the types of foundation. Okay, and it is depend on the site exploration only. To know the underground water level, okay, to select the economical and safe type of foundation, to evaluate the earth pressure against the wall, basement, abutment, etc., and to make the provision against difficulties during construction. Okay, so methods of soil exploration. Uh, these are many types of, many methods to methods for the site exploration. First one is trial pit. Second one is probing. Third one is subsurface uh, subsurface sounding. Third one is geophysical method, and fifth one is boring method. Okay, so auger and shell boring, wash boring, and precious boring and rotary boring. The excavation of the trial pits is a simple and reliable method. Okay, and the depth is limited to 4 to 5 meter only. Okay, if uh, if we want 4 to 5 meter depth of foundation, foundation, we can choose trial pit method for site exploration. Okay, and it is very simple and reliable method. So we can choose it for 4 to 5 meter depth foundation exploration. Okay, in the in situ conditions are explained visually, uh, and it is easy to obtain disturbed and undisturbed samples. Okay, so it is applicable for disturbed and undisturbed sample as well. Okay, and block samples can be cut by hand tools, and tube samples can be taken from the bottom of the pit. Wall of the test pit indicates 4 layers. First one is clay sill, second one is sandy sill, third one is clean sand, and fourth one is sandy gravel. Okay, so the walls of this test pit indicate 4 layers. Okay, and 4 layer is clay, sandy, clean sand, and sandy gravel. You can see here in this diagram, it is a trial pit. Okay, and in previously we clearly mentioned here, wall of test pit indicates 4 layers: clay sill, sandy sill, clean sand, and fourth one is sandy gravel. So in this diagram, first depth is sill, second depth for clay, third for sandy gravel, and fourth one is gravels. Okay, gravels. So and the width of this pit is 1.2 to 1.5 meter, and total depth was 4 to 5 meter only. So this type of okay, and the depth is 4 to 5 meter only. Okay, if you want foundation depth in between 4 meter to 5 meter, so you can use trial pit method for site exploration. Okay, up to hard startup. Otherwise, you can choose other methods. So second one is stone method. Okay, this method is suitable for soft soil such as clay. First criteria is soft soil. This method is used only for soft soil. Second one is gravel, and third one is sand. Okay, in this method, a steel bar of 25 to 40 diameter having a pointed end is driven into the ground. Okay, until a hard starter is met. First of all, you have to select, you have to choose suitable soil like soft soil, clay, gravel, and sand only. And in this method, a steel bar having a cone for 25 to 40 diameter, pointed end driving into the ground, up to hard starter. The bar is allowed to fall vertically under its own weight, or in it driven by drop hammer. By own weight? By just because it is a soft soil. Okay, and if it requires some external force, so we have to apply drop hammer. Okay, for driving this cone up to the hard starter. The bar is drawn out at a same interval, so the rough idea of the nature of the starter is obtained from the soil sticking to the side of the bar. Okay, when we are drawn um, the like the steel bar. Okay, we are driving the steel bar into the soil. You can see the nature of the strata of soil. Soils are sucking to the side of the bar of the driven bar. Okay, the experienced person can be engaged in the execution of the driving operation like this. Okay, various type of cones here. First one is rectangular shape, third one is triangular, conical, okay, diamond shape, last one is for diamond shape. Okay, so sink under the soil, soft soil, and and the soil will stick outer surface of the crate. Okay. Next method is boring. The various boring methods adopted for soil exploration are as follows. First one is auger boring. Second one is auger and shell boring. Wash boring. Next one is precious oil boring and rotary boring. Okay. Auger boring. This type of auger are commonly used for clay or sandy soil. Okay, remember this. Auger boring suitable for clay and sandy soil or soft soil only. It can be adopted manually or machinery. Okay. The hand-operated augers are used up to 6 meter depth. Second one is 6 meter. Second limit is 6 meter depth. First one is auger boring is used only for clay or sandy soil or soft soil. Second criteria is used to up to 6 meter depth, and the mechanically operated auger are used for greater depth up to 15 meter. So if you are using hand operated auger, you can use for 6 meter depth only, and if you are using mechanically operated auger, so you can use this for greater depth up to 15 meter. The auger is vertically driven into the ground by rotating its handle and is presses down during the process of rotating. Okay, so the style to driving is rotating. Okay, and at every 30 centimeter depth of penetration, the auger is drawn out and the samples of soil are collected separately for the testing. This is an example of auger driving, yeah, auger boring, post hole auger, and second one is helical auger, and the process is rotating. Okay, you can see here clearly the process of driven is driven into by rotating its handle. You can see here uh, for collecting sample, you have to rotate this auger by handle, by manually or by mechanically. Okay, and collect sample and exploration. You can collect the properties of soil by this method. Wash boring, same as a casing is driving with a drop hammer. A hollow drill rod with stopping bite is inserted inside the casing. Soil is loose and removed from the borehole using water or a drill mud jet under the pressure. Okay, first one is driving casing with the help of dropping hammer. Second one is the loose soils are removed from the borehole using the water or drilling mud jet under the pressure. Next step is the water is jetted in the hole through the bottom of a wash pipe and leaves the hole along with the loose soil from the annual space between the hole and wash pipe. Okay, the water reaches the ground level where the soil is suspension is allowed to settle and mud is recirculated. This is an example of systematic for wash boring. Okay, so first one you can see here, we will are dropped with the help of drop hammer, and you can see here um, wash away. The second one is soil is loose. After dropping, after excavating soil will remove because soil is loose and now removed with the help of water. So you can see here soils are removed by the water jet and collected on the settling tank. Okay, and settling tank, and after settling tank it's collected on a stump. Okay, this exploration method is known as wash boring method. Precision method. This method is used for rock and soil having boulders which are broken up to repeated blows from a bit or chisel. Thus, the pulverized material is converted into slurry. Okay, rock converted into slurry by pouring water in the bore, and this slurry is bailed out at a regular interval and drilled with testing. You can see here, this is a setup for percussion boring. Okay, in this case, one side treadle pumps are used. Upper portion soil collecting sample above the soil collecting area. It is a trapezoidal shape to collect the cutted to is used to cut the rocks and soil having boulders, and it is washed out in the form of slurry. Okay, rotary boring, primarily intended for investigation in rocks, but also used in a soil. Okay, rotary boring is also used for rocks, but